Good evening, everyone. It's 5 o'clock, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Sean Callan.
Here.
Julie Chetney.
Here.
Tom Chapa. Here. Sean Onmacht.
Here.
Tim Rice.
Here.
Jennifer Salazzo.
Here.
And Student Representative Leah Norton.
Here.
All right, if you please join us in a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, all right.
Okay, so today we get to start off our board meeting with special recognition. So we're going to start things right off with recognizing our New York State champions, our marching Buccaneers. And so we just want to spend a few minutes honoring each of you because we understand how much effort. We know that this begins early in the summer and that you are working through incredible heat, rain, sometimes sleet and snow. There's a lot ultimately to it. And so we're just so proud of your accomplishments. We just want to take a couple of minutes to recognize each of you. I'm actually going to ask Ms. Miller to come on up and help us out. Our incredible director. She's actually got the list of names. We have some certificates for everyone. As your name is called, if you wouldn't mind just coming right up and being congratulated by myself and Mr. Chapa. And then if you would just kind of stand off to the side here, just so maybe we could do a real quick picture before we send you all off. So with that.
All right, I'm going to read through all the names. We'll get the applause at the end. Harvey Bell, Najee Boyd, Jackson Zietzik. Sorry. So when your name is called, I'm sorry, I'm just not sure how many are here. Nora Kelly, Wesley Manoni, Ariana McClear, Bryce Prue, Ruth Walker, Emily Carr, Noah Frost, JP Galt, Josella Kent, Ellie Murray, Ben Wall. Oh, sorry. Olivia Brockway, Megan Campbell, Leah Chorley, Casey Chrisman, Isabella Donahue, Nick Esberg, Damian Germain, Faith Giberson, Lucas Kelly, Odin Mosher. Oh, looks like we have a couple that just came in whose names I've already read. Hunter Parkhurst. No, okay. Sophia Sorrell. Liam Weiss. Mason Bandla. Caden Bryan. Harlan Bryant. Kevin Clifford. Hannah Coe. Devin Galt. Addison Holiday. Mackenzie Joyce. Kelly Kraft. Ash Laird. Ethan Lamb. Len Lynn. Annabelle Manoni. Kate Romanowski. Jess Romanowski. Evan Scaglione. Gregory Thomas. Brandy Town. Damian Wilder. Zachary Wills. Gwen Baldwin. Alessia Braun. Landon Gibson. Eva Kant. Eve McKenzie. Logan McCrae. Olive O'Connor. Josiah O'Keefe. Colton Roy. Josiah Rutolo Khan. Emily Simpson. Amalia Sloan. There we go. Adrian Williams. Olivia Williams. Zachary Willis. Marion Freeth. Anna Galt. Nathan Hibbert. Leah Kelly. Leonard Lynn. Oh, I'll wait till the line starts dying down. There we go. Grayson Miller. Leah Norton. Is that already up here? Julia Pearson. Savannah Pecorella. Chris Pineda. Oh, Julia, I just called your name. You can go ahead and get in line. This is Julia Pearson coming up. Grant Romanowski. Kylie Ryan. Marissa Searer. Lily Jean Smith. Grace Sorrell. Aiden Town. Miles Tortura. Xavier Vasquez. And Noah Whalen. Thank you very much to everybody.
Just real quick, I just want to also recognize any of the coaches that are here. That's for you. Why don't you hold this? So our director, Kim Miller, assistant director, Brandy Norton, associate director, Heather Sweeting, woodwind instructor, Steve Deffrin, woodwind instructor, Katie Kruger, brass instructor, McKaylee Krinner, visual captain head, Kyle Hartman, visual instructor, Larry Schmidt, visual instructor, Allie Pasco, visual instructor, Keegan Thompson, color guard caption head, Alex Springer, color guard instructor, Melinda Hartman, percussion captain head, Tom Norton, battery percussion instructor, Josh Rogers, and battery percussion instructor, Brian Miller. Just as our final few instructors get their certificates, and Ms. Miller will give you the rest of these to make sure that everyone does get theirs ultimately at some point. I had the opportunity to speak to the band before they went on at the Dome on that morning, and it was a brisk, early morning for them. But I have great fond memories of marching band. I said to them, and I said it out loud, and I joked with my wife afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. I actually started a sentence 30 years ago when describing myself. And a couple of you chuckled, and that made me feel even more old. But I understand that I am. But there's a great love for music or being able to be a part of something larger than yourself, whether it be in band or athletics or clubs or activities. There are just so many things that public education ultimately provides for our communities. And these young men and women are really what happens when a group comes together, believes in each other, works hard with each other, and in the end, does great work for each other. It wasn't about any one individual on that field, on that incredible Sunday. It was about them as a whole. And so we at Oswego are so very proud of all of you. So can't wait to see the show next year too. So congratulations again. Why don't you guys squeeze in a little bit better so we can do a better picture? Just kind of squeeze in. We'll do one quick picture, and then we'll take a 2-minute break for y'all to get out of here unless you really want to sit and be a part of the rest of our meeting.
That was awesome.
It's great.
That was awesome. It was.
Great start.
Yes. Yes.
Great start, everyone.
It's
Actually,
good.
let me give this to Kim. She's going to want this.
You're gonna drink out of it?
right. So now we move on to school-wide recognitions with Sean Onmont.
We're going to start off with athletics. We have congratulations to the varsity football team and their coaches, Chris Pike, Corey McTagg, and Nathan Howard, on winning 3 games this season, 3 in a row to end the season, and advancing to the Tier 2 playoffs. They fell short to Janesville DeWitt, but are already planning for next year. The girls' volleyball team advanced to the semifinals. They play tonight against Central Square at FM High School. The bus leaves at 5:45. Congratulations to our fall cheerleading team and their coach, Sierra Toll, as they placed 4th at sectionals on November 1st. This was a great showing for our Buccaneer cheer team. Also, congratulations to Julia Bove. She was able to make sectionals in her first season as a diver and placed 8th in Class A. 7 swimmers will compete individually in swim sectionals on Wednesday, November 5th. All 12 swimmers will attend the meet and participate in relays. Upcoming events in athletics, the varsity cross-country teams, both boys and girls, will compete in the sectionals this Saturday at Mount Markham. Boys volleyball will host Central Square in their first-round sectional game Monday at 5 o'clock in Layton Gym. And in conjunction with the Buck Boosters, we will be holding a Division I signing ceremony on November 13th at 3:30 in Layton Gym, and would like to extend an invitation to members of the Board of Education. Moving to Charles E. Riley, this year's Riley Elementary Halloween Parade was truly a highlight of the season and our first parade in years. Thanks to the incredible support of our Home and School Association, the event was made extra special with every student receiving a bag of goodies prepared with care. Even though the weather kept us indoors, our cafeteria was filled with excitement as parents lined the space to cheer and celebrate while students proudly paraded in their creative costumes. The spirit of the day shone brightly as teacher teams and departments joined in with fun-themed costumes, and even our wonderful cafeteria staff got in on the spooky fun, making a memorable and joy-filled event for everyone. At Frederick Layton, first graders in Miss Burnell's class are practicing decomposing numbers while working with partners on a vertical surface. This strategy was learned in a teacher professional development session and is engaging to all learners. The Wild Robot concluded this week with students making robots at home to put on display in our main hallway. Students recreated characters from the book. Students also enjoyed apples and caramel donated from Fruit Valley Orchard as one of the stations during their physical education fun at the Haunted Gym. Also at Frederick Layton, character trait winners. Trustworthiness. Layton students in kindergarten through 6th grade were nominated by their teachers for demonstrating trustworthiness in the month of October. 3 lucky students also won Texas Roadhouse gift certificates. Layton's Positive Pirates had their monthly celebration on October 30th. During the assembly, students and staff role-played and practiced by modeling trustworthiness. Students were also recognized with positive officer referrals by their teachers. At Fitzhugh Park, there were so many Halloween-themed activities going on at FPS last week. Mrs. Freeburn's 2nd grade Teen Time group did an outstanding job reading aloud for a festive Halloween readers theater. Mrs. Tubolino's 4th grade class did a Ghostbusters-themed tag activity and a ghost bowling activity that required student collaboration and teamwork. Great job, Mrs. Freeburn, Mrs. Tubolino, and students. At Minetto, our October assembly featured 5th grade students interviewing SRO Porter about the Minetto Way and how we use it outside of school. Kindergartners participated in a fun, engaging monster math scavenger hunt during library class, and RTI math students worked collaboratively in teams to complete a digital breakout EDU challenge, which reinforced key math concepts. At the high school, the Halloween spirit was alive and well at OHS. There was a costume contest for students sponsored by Student Council. The OHS faculty and staff also joined in the fun by dressing up as department themes. It was a great day for all. And finally, at the middle school, the OMS community wants a moment to recognize a truly special moment that occurred during our recent modified football game against Fulton. Our coaches arranged for one of our 15-1 students to have the opportunity to score a touchdown, a moment that meant the world to him, his teammates, and everyone who witnessed it. What made this experience so powerful was not just the touchdown itself, but the way the team came together to celebrate it. Players from both sides showed genuine excitement and sportsmanship, surrounding him with cheers and high fives as he crossed the goal line. It was a moving reminder that success in athletics is not only measured by wins and losses, but by the character and compassion our students display. Our coaches modeled the very best of what educational athletics should represent. By intentionally creating this opportunity, they demonstrated that lifting others and creating inclusive, joyful experiences are just as important, if not more so, than being the best athlete on the field. Their leadership helped the students understand that teamwork, empathy, and kindness are the true victories. This moment reflects the culture we strive to build in our district, one where every student is valued and supported. We are proud of our coaches, our athletes, and the example that they've set for our community.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. And now we have the floor to the public. Oswego City School District's Board of Education welcomes public comment at this portion of the meeting using the following guidelines. Each speaker who signed up is permitted 3 minutes for their comments. Speakers may not yield remaining time to others. All comments must be directed to the board president. The board will listen to comments and input, but will not necessarily debate or discuss items. Operational matters will be directed to school administration for handling. The board is not permitted to address personnel or individual student matters in open session. The board will limit repetitive comments to give time to others wishing to speak, as well as to maintain meeting efficiency. The board president has the authority to end the speaker's comments or close public comment as appropriate. Any additional written correspondence or letters may be directed to the board clerk for distribution to the board. And the board expects proper decorum at all times, and all speakers should state their full name and address. And we have one speaker, I believe. Sarah?
Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know who I am,
I'm sorry, Sarah, could you just, your name and address, please? Thank you.
I was getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Sarah Gujan, and I'm the head custodian at Layton Elementary. I come to you today to discuss our proposed contract. I am not here to ask for a revote, although I did petition to do so. I have it here, but I'm not going to present it. The last thing I want to do is be the reason we all get less. I'm here simply to share with you our concerns as a district. There is no secret, a very large portion of us are not happy. We feel undervalued, underappreciated, and underpaid. I want to be clear. I am not upset with our union officers. They tried, they pushed for better, but there was no give. I have to ask, are we not worth a whole dollar raise? I'm going to put some numbers out there. An hourly employee who makes $40,500 a year, that's $19.47 an hour, add 4%, and that's only 78 cents. Cooks make approximately $28,800. Their raise is 74 cents. Clerical, that's 70 cents. That's not including bus aides, teacher aides, hall monitors, security, nurses, maintenance, and grounds. The only group that seems to be satisfied with their raise is the bus drivers, and why wouldn't they be? Every single one of our departments are short-staffed, not just drivers. It's getting harder and harder to live, to pay our bills, and even harder to save in case of an emergency. Many of us have to take on a second job just to make ends meet. The next thing we know, our insurance premiums go up, and automatically we lose that 4% increase. At the moment, no one feels secure in their jobs because we are treated as if we don't matter, easily replaceable. We are literally the bones of these buildings, especially the ones that have been here for a long time. We keep them going, we keep them clean, inside and out, safe for all who enter. To be treated as if we are less than because we don't hold a degree, even though some do, nurses for example, is a kick in the gut. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow because we work hard. As a district, we are losing morale and creating a bigger divide when we should be coming together and creating a community worth working for we are the community. There are many more things I could say about our contract, but I won't. You can read it and see the unfairness. Our pay was just the biggest grievance. So going forward, my hope is for the next contract to be better because we deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And now we'd like to move on to our student representative discussion. Leah Norton.
Hi. So this week I only have a couple things. So as you saw earlier, the marching band got first last week at our state championships. So that was really great. It was the first time ever in the history of the program, which was wild. And then this Friday, the girls swimming team has their state qualifications. So good luck to every one of them. This past week, in student council, we allowed 31 new members into student council. So that's a total of 52 now. And each committee, at the beginning of this year, I talked about the committees that we're making. So we're all going to have those up and running by the 19th. And then hopefully we'll be making more of a presence in the school. At the high school, there have been college reps coming in every week. Last week, like Fredonia was in, and then there are more to come. And every Tuesday this month, it was in October and November, if you need help filling out your college applications, anyone is allowed to go down to the theater area, and a counselor will be there during lunch periods, and they can help you. So that's a really great resource if anyone needs to finish things like that. This Sunday, there was an OCMEA scholarship opportunity, and Chris Pineda and Xavier Vasquez both tied for 3rd place for the county, so congrats to them. And then this Friday and Saturday is the drama club play, Hamlet Throwmageddon. So that's, like I said, this Friday and Saturday. So hopefully anyone, if they're able, can attend. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Leah. Now we'll move on to Board of Education, and our first item up is the Board of Education vacancy discussion. When we left last time, we talked about how we were going about filling the vacancy, and the option that we chose was to put it out for application, and that we would go from there. So what we need to establish is when we're going to put the information out, how long the application process or the window will be open, and then once we get those applications back, we can circulate them with the board. So if there's any input as far as that goes, let me know. We have that.
I would say now. I think the sooner the better. And I really think a week is reasonable to have it turned around. I know that we've had some interest, so if we could reach back out to the people who had initially were interested and have them, I don't know what this application looks like.
With the stuff that I circulated to the
Oh,
board.
I'm sorry, no.
It was in
I-
there.
okay, no,
But
I
it'll be an
didn't see it.
application. Well, that's
Okay,
okay.
sorry.
We'll have that in, the application will be out there and with
Okay.
all their information, why they're doing it.
Okay,
and the
perfect.
reason for it, and requirements as well.
So what we can do is, if, whatever the decision is of what's the information that we want, once I have that, actually you can provide that to the clerk. The clerk can immediately put that on the website. And then what we can do, I can work with Diane tomorrow about reaching out to the Pale Times. It's usually Diane's about 2 days, correct, from the time.
Yeah.
So we can start working on this first thing tomorrow that notifies individuals of the vacancy, the deadline. So if we make the assumption that it'll be available to Pale Times by the 7th, if we can have a deadline of maybe the 14th, that would be, again, a little bit more. That's a week and a half from tomorrow, right? And then that would allow you all to have the information to look at by the 18th board meeting. At least you then have that idea. But we'll put information on the website, and then we'll get it out, information on the Bell Times. People will be able to get information from the website, the description of what has to be submitted, and then if there are any physical paper copies that we have to do, we can have those available for people to pick up should they need it.
And just so we know, tomorrow, the deadline at noon tomorrow would get us in on Friday, and we would have that window, so if we could do that. So I just need to know where everybody is on that. Are we in agreement with that?
I'm good with that process.
Yep. Everyone? Sean? Tim? All right. Excellent. Thank you very much. And now we'll move on to item B under Board of Education, Oswego City School District and CSEA tentative 2025-28 collective bargaining agreement ratification. If I could get a motion, please.
Move to accept.
Tim, move to accept, and a second, please.
Second.
A second from Sean. Thank you. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And item C, the detailed budget calendar for 2026-27. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll move.
Julie, thank you.
Second.
And Tim, thank you. Second. Discussion.
Again, this is just a tentative calendar for our budget discussions. I know it feels like we just finished last year and we're already thinking about next, but budget meetings are going to start next month for us within the district in December, and we are going to need the board to be very involved in that process come January. So this just kind of lays out for us. There's always room for movement. There's always opportunities where we might change. There's be some flex here or there, but we want to make sure that we're kind of putting out the general timeline. So if there are questions or concerns earlier on in the process, you can get those ultimately to us. But if there's a question or concern about anything that we've presented up to this point, let us know.
The only thing that I wanted to say is to Pete, last year, I know I got you something late. It was a spreadsheet regarding all the different columns. And if we could possibly get that at the beginning to go with the season as well, to have that. It was very informative, I thought. So if we could do that, that'd be great. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now we move on to the superintendent's report.
And with that, I'm going to invite Amanda Caldwell up, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum. She and her team, well, actually her team, will be providing a great deal of information on our K-8 math and ELA benchmark process and data.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the superintendent said, I'm Amanda Caldwell, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. And you all have heard from me recently, so without further ado, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my colleagues, Karen Reeve and Jeremy Amadon, who are our Director of Literacy and Mathematics, respectively. They're going to be talking to you tonight about the process of benchmarking and using diagnostic data with our students, diving a little bit deeper into what that process means and how we use the data so that when our principals are speaking to the board and when I'm speaking to the board, you have a better foundational understanding of what that process is.
Hello, I'm Karen Reeve. I'm the Director of Literacy. This is my colleague.
I'm Jeremy Amadon, Director of Math.
Everything that we do, we root in the district's mission and vision. So we just always have this slide up here, and we remind folks that our mission is to empower and engage all students to guarantee their successful future, and that that's the purpose that we're here and the purpose for all the work that we do. So I just always have it there and take the time to make sure that we connect with that before we begin. One of the things we wanted to just kind of root in as well is the portrait of a graduate that New York State has recently adopted. And so when we look at what students need to be when they're graduating from high school, we see that they have to be academically prepared, creative innovators, critical thinkers, effective communicators, global citizens, reflective and future focused. So it's less specific in terms of content and more broad in terms of these large skills that we know that students need in order to be successful in life. So we do keep this in mind also as we're talking with teachers and with principals about the programs that we have. And we're going to really be talking about the purpose of assessment a little bit. We use a lot of lingo in our worlds, a lot of acronyms, a lot of language that sometimes, like when I talk to my dad, I have to remind myself, oh, he doesn't know what that means. So we did want to take just a moment to kind of connect you with some of the lingo that we use. But we do value assessment in both the literacy and math worlds because we really do use it to see where students are in terms of both growth and proficiency. Obviously, proficiency. Did I do that, Matt? It says power off. Sorry. when we're looking at proficiency, we're looking at grade level proficiency. And when we're looking at growth, we're looking at how students have grown from point A to point B. So we talk about both of these things fairly regularly with teachers and with principals, and we're going to give you a little bit more information about that this evening. So we use assessment because it is important for us to inform our instruction, but also for us to really kind of see how our students measure up in terms of how they compare with like students in like demographics and like size districts and with like socioeconomic status. We use this idea of benchmark 3 times a year. So we're going to talk about 2 things this evening, benchmarking and diagnostic assessment. Both terms we use fairly interchangeably, but Jeremy will explain more about what each of them means. But we are talking about 3 times a year where we compare our students with other students against a nationally normed measure.
So in mathematics, we give an iReady diagnostic grades K through 8 for our students. So I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of some facts about the diagnostics and what that exactly means. So each student will see a test that's made just for them. So the test is adaptive. So as students are answering questions, the test is getting to know the student more and is adapting to their responses. So therefore, every student has a test that is individually for them. So many students will see material that is above grade level, below grade level, and a wide mix between. So as the students are getting questions correct, they're going to be kind of moving up towards that higher grade level. And then if students are answering questions wrong, that's when the test will adapt and lower the student down. So every student will receive a challenging test for them. And one thing that we have stressed to our teachers to make sure that they stress to our students is that students should be getting about 50% of the questions correct and 50% of the questions wrong. It's not an assessment where you get a percentage at the end of it and you get 6 questions right out of 10, you get a 60%. That's not the case with this. The diagnostic is really trying to figure out what the student knows. So as a student's assessment score is not based on the number of correct answers, and the student at the end of it will receive a scaled score for them. So kind of to give you just a brief overview, and I'm going to go to the screen. That was way more challenging than that should have been. Okay. So as a student starts their test, they're going to start right here at 1 grade level below. As the student is taking the exam, the test is starting to understand what the student knows and what the student does not know. So as the student is, in this example, as the student is getting a question correct, they're moving up. iReady looks at mid or above grade level, early on grade level, 1 grade level below, 2 grade levels below, and then 3 or more grade levels below. So as a student is answering questions, so they move the student up because they got this question correct. They got it wrong, so the question's moving down, the question's moving down, then they get it correct. And as the student is going through the test and it's adapting to the student, you'll notice that the standard error on where the student is getting smaller and smaller and smaller because the test is learning about the student, and therefore the standard error is getting smaller. So at the end of that, you're going to get a scaled score. And based on that baseline, iReady is going to give you 2 things. They're going to give you a typical growth score and then a stretch growth score for the students. So a typical growth score is just that. It is a score that you would typically see for a student at the end of the year. So if a student comes in at 4th grade, let's say a 5th grade student comes in at a 3rd grade level, a typical growth would mean that student is leaving at a 4th grade level. They gained 1 year of growth in that year. If we really want to start closing the achievement gap, we really need to be looking for that stretch growth for the students, because that stretch growth is how we're going to start making up ground for that student and get them back on grade level and close the achievement gap for the students. So this is an example of a student. So this is a 4th grade student. And our first diagnostic, this is their baseline right here. iReady looks at numbers and operations, algebra and algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and geometry. They look at those 4 domains for the students. And then they will receive a score of where they are with each of those domains. So as the student is taking the exams, the fall, the winter, the spring, this score, hopefully, is going to be going up towards that growth. What is nice about having your Tier 1 instruction match your diagnostic instruction is that right here in each of these domains, students are given resources on what they can do in that domain and some resources for teachers, so teachers do not need to go searching outside of it. And it provides resources on numbers and operations, on algebra and algebraic thinking, and so on for the teachers. So for this student, they started with a baseline of 436, which is a grade level 3. They grew 16 scaled points. So now they're early on grade level, and you can see how they're changing is going from up. And then at the end of the year, notice how they did not reach, they hit their stretch growth, but they did not reach the mid or on grade level line. If students hit their stretch growth for multiple years, students are going to be achieving and hitting that line. So if this student hits their stretch growth next year, they will be above that on and grade level line. So let's take a look at some of the data. So we have the fall, the winter, and the spring data here. This is the percentage of students that are on or above grade level. So as we are going through the year, the fall, the winter, the spring, we can see that students are getting closer, and we're getting more students that are on grade level. While this is good, the next slide I think is even more important, is that we're closing that gap for the students. So this chart represents the students that are 2 or more grade levels below. So as we go from fall, winter, and spring, you can see the percentage of students that are having those large gaps are getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the year progresses, which does mirror our New York State assessment data as well. So this is a 23-24 school year and the 24-25 school year. If you want to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, and you're going to want to look at cohorts. So let's just take a look. A 5th grade student in the year 23-24 is going to be a 6th grade student in the year 24-25. So if you want to be looking at a cohort of students, you're looking at the light blue to the dark blue of the next year, and then you can see how cohorts are growing. So just for example, if we take a look at that 5th grade again, these students are the same students, and they're growing. Their percentage is growing. And I'm going to kick it over to Karen, and she's going to talk through some ELA.
So we're actually really fortunate to use iReady. It also in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade as a diagnostic for reading. And just so that you understand the difference between iReady and MClass, because I'm going to talk about both of these things. Like Jeremy was saying, that the diagnostic is adaptive, and I'm going to talk about MClass dibbles, and you might hear people say like, oh, well, we dibble them like 3 times a year and we use it like it's a verb, like Google. So that is actually a benchmark, which is nationally normed and has decades of research behind it. It's probably the most used benchmark assessment for reading throughout the country. So we use MClass is just the program that it's housed in, and the probes are from Dibbles, which is out of the University of Oregon. And in a Dibbles benchmarking, there are several tests that are given to students depending on the grade. So it could be letter naming fluency, phonemic awareness, letter sounds, decoding, word reading, fluency in terms of reading words accurately, and fluency in terms of reading passages fluently, like with making it sound smooth. And then comprehension in terms of it's basic comprehension. It's really more of a question and answer than it is like a retell or a writing. So I just wanted you to kind of experience what it might be like. So for phonemic awareness, that's like how you manipulate sounds in words. And so this is a really important indicator, particularly for kindergarten and first grade students. If K1 kids show really high phonemic awareness, that the research has shown that that is an indicator of later reading success. So we want kids to be able to do this. So if I were to say mop, you would be able to figure out what the sounds in that word are and say p. So that's the kind of task that's involved for phonemic awareness, and that's for first grade. So when we look at like where we are right now, so this is kindergarten and this is first grade, and you can see we have more acronyms because we love them. This is the 23-24 end of year, right? EOY's end of year, and this is 24-25 end of year. So you can see for kindergarten that overall we're making some great gains with phonemic awareness, which would be a really huge indicator of our potential for reading success. So we definitely want to see this continue. And at first grade, I think the most exciting thing here is like how this red and yellow is going down, because we have nearly all of our students who are at or above grade level with phonemic awareness by the end of the year for grade 1. So there's a lot to celebrate with phonemic awareness, and then what we would want to see is this trajectory continue up through the grades so that we would know that students were continuing to be proficient. This is an example of a word reading. This is third grade. Just so, again, you see the kind of task that kids are doing. They would have to read the words. It is timed, and then it is figured out like how far you get, how many mistakes you make, and then that is part of how the students are scored. And then this would be considered a fluency passage. So again, it is timed. This would go through and students would read the passage. They are allowed to like self-correct. So if I say, our cat Sam lives a double life, but then I say, oh, leads a double life, I can self-correct and I can fix that. And that's scored differently. And then it goes, the students have to go they go as far as they can in the 1 minute, and then it is scored. And then we actually can go through and see by the errors that they make, like what skills they might need support with. If I'm rambling, please tell me, because I could really talk about this for a long time. So when we look at this oral reading fluency, and we want all of our students really fluent by the end of third grade would be our goal. We can see that we're not quite there, right? We've got 29% of our students who are green, so that would be on grade level, and 19% would be above grade level. And then we've got 39% who are well below and 13% who are below. So we have some work to do there, and that is certainly things that we are focused on with our teachers and our principals. This is what the iReady data looks like for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And as Jeremy mentioned, they have 2 or more grade levels below, 3 or more grade levels below. That's the striped red. Red is 2 or more grade levels below. Yellow is 1 grade level below. Green would be just at grade level, and striped green would be mid-grade level or above. So we obviously want to see as much of the green and striped green as we can, and we want to decrease the amount of striped red, red, and yellow. There are some reports in iReady that are really helpful for teachers, so it's really a benefit to 6th grade that they have both the DIBELS data and the iReady data, and it also allows us to inform the 7th grade of what those kids coming in are capable of in terms of their skills. And then this is our ELA data in terms of our New York State assessment. And as Jeremy explained, this would be cohort like 3rd grade in 23-24, going to 4th grade in 24-25. And likewise through. Thank you, and if you have any questions, we'll open it up if you have any questions.
Anyone? I just want to say thank you very much to everyone, Jeremy, Amanda, and thank you very much, Karen. I love seeing this. It's always been, iReady, what's iReady? Where's iReady? And so it puts some numbers to it, and I love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
And I don't believe we have any committee discussions, so we're moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second, please? Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And can I get a motion to accept personnel, items A through H? Thank you, Jen. And can I get a second, please?
Second.
Tim, thank you very much. And no discussion, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And now we move on to finance. Finance, items A and B. Memorandum, understanding, that's what it is, with Ruth Taylor. A and B, can I get a motion for those, please?
I'll move.
Thank you, can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim, there's a pattern forming. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And I just wanted to go to item C, donors choose. Can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie.
Second.
Thank you, Tim. And the only discussion I want there is always to point out, thank you very much for those that donate and all those groups there from Exelon as well, and we appreciate all the donations to the district. And one more under finance, D, Central Association of the Blind and Visually Impaired Agreement. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Sean. And a second. Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. And now we move on to items from the board. Do we have any items from the board? Anyone? No?
I don't really have anything.
You don't have? I'm surprised. But I want to say,
Well, if you'd like something, I could tell you a story. I was thinking not too long ago about the silent heroes in our district. And they're like these people, whether they're teachers or custodians or food service workers, and the things that they do, and they don't want recognition. And I hear more and more of these stories, and I'd like to say names, but I won't because I know they don't want to. But I recently heard a story about a teacher, and I'm sure this happens, but I just heard this story, who consistently and continually brings the blessings in a backpacks home on Friday and delivers them to students' houses and to their homes if they weren't there at school. And I just thought, that's a silent hero. I mean, I just wanted to say that it's those little things about our district and the people that work for us that really make a difference in our students' lives. And while I know that there's some days you probably don't feel like we can do enough. Every little bit, I think, is going to move the needle just a little bit farther on the good work that we do. So.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? I just want to say, this is actually for Oswego County School Boards Association. On December 3rd, we're going to be sponsoring a presentation on DASA, the Dignity Act, From Compliance to Culture, and Roseanne Bain will be presenting. And it'll be out at City BOCES, and you'll be getting a flyer from us in an email soon. But a light meal will be provided, and then if you've never seen Roseanne before, she does a great presentation. And I just want to tie in with the dignity theme. I did have the opportunity to virtually attend the NISPA conference online, and Tim Shriver presented. And he presented on dignity and the dignity scale and how we see each other and how we relate to each other and what a difference it makes in terms of your openness and accessibility and treating your fellow human beings with dignity. And so I just tied in with the DASA Act and that presentation, but I just think that's important. So, if you can come on the 3rd, it'll be wonderful, December. We have a need for an executive session. We do. Thank you so much. It's regarding the medical and financial credit or employment history of a particular person or corporation. And that's, so can I get a motion to move to executive?
Move it.
Thank you, Sean. And a second? Thank you, Sean. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No, it carries. Will there be a need for a vote? There will be no need for a vote. So thank you very much, and thank you all very much.